Hello, can you hear me? Well, good morning, everyone. You know what? This just feels so good. There's some faces I haven't seen for a very long time. And it's so beautiful to see everybody coming back and being together as a family. Bob, it's just so good to see you, brother. So good to have Bob back. And Reverend Lisa is back. Yay! So beautiful to be together as a family. Just wanted to sing this song, Get Ready, My Soul. Here we go.
Soul. Thank you, thank you. Leah, Michael, our Unity's Glory singers, so wonderful to have all of you. And Sean and TJ, thank you. Oh, it is good to be back. Good morning. We welcome you here to Unity Spiritual Center of Portland, both our virtual family and all of us in this space, because we recognize there is no space, there is no time. We are all travelers on this journey. And I think this song, Get Ready, My Soul, which, just so you know, I listen to it every Sunday morning. I have this list of songs, and that's one of them that literally I just take in because I realize we're being called deeper. We're being called further than we've ever been before. Anybody else experiencing that? A few of us are. And that's because we're being asked and invited into a larger awakening. All of humanity, we're asked to look again, to see life, to just shift and move. And you know, Rumi said that love is the bridge to everything. If there's anything in our lives that we don't know, how do I move through this? Who am I in this? How do I hold a different idea? What I know is our hearts have the wisdom, the intelligence, the essence to open large enough to realize there's so much more. And so we just welcome you this morning as we gather as a community, as humanity, walking each other home. And I just invite you, if by any chance you've just tried to shut out the world at any point this week and you've said, I don't know how to change anymore, I don't know how to shift anymore, I just invite you to once again breathe and move into your heart and recognize each of us has all that we need to do all that is ours to do this day, this breath, this moment. Let's begin this service in prayer. And we simply open. Mother, Father, God, infinite Spirit, we open to a deeper understanding. Here I am. Move through me as divine wisdom, as the eternal message of a universe. I am open and receptive to all that I am to learn and to know, and I allow it to flow through me in all that I do, and all that I think, and all that I share. And I know that this idea of enough love, enough peace, enough wisdom encircles our globe to each person everywhere. We hold the divine in you. We hold the light that you are. And we acknowledge and call forth the beauty on this planet, the love on this planet. And we simply say yes to that movement of spirit, to that awakening that's within our hearts. We are so blessed. And so it is. Amen. And so Beth is going to share with us. I do remember part of the order of service. We'll see how far that goes.
Good morning. It's so good to see all of you here. I first want to acknowledge Friday night. We had the most amazing time at our garden party. It was our second one. And we're already starting to think about next year and all the fun things we can do. But I cannot go without acknowledging Colleen's story. I'm doing it. Stand up. Between her and Barbara Selvaggi, she coordinated it. She made all the food. I'm happy to say between the two events, we've made over $2,000. So we thank you in advance for showing up. And we just had a great time, and we're looking forward to doing it again. So I'm going to bing off of the musicians this morning and tell y'all to dive in because there's a lot happening here. So come on and dive in with us. Our fall program begins October 2nd. That's in a couple weeks. And that's also when our spirit groups and our other classes start. And the fall program this year's Transform Fear to Faith. It's based on the book The Universe Has Your Back by Gabrielle Bernstein. We have copies available in the bookstore. Alice does, so you can pick yours up today or next week or whenever. You got a couple weeks. But if you came here looking for community and connection, I just want to say Spirit Groups is a place where you will find that. We had 5 groups for this session. 2 are already full. So we have 3 that are left. There's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. The Wednesday's an afternoon group. But we do have sign-ups, physical sign-ups out on the table, or you can sign up online through the newsletter or the website. And, I have to say that once a week you get to check in with a group of wonderful, trusted partners who will walk this spiritual journey with you and who will hold your prayer intentions for the week. And there's a good chance you'll form some lifetime bonds with some of those people, and it's just a wonderful way to get connected. So we invite you to do that. It's all on Zoom, so it's really easy to do from home. And so anyway, we invite you to sign up for those. The other way to really feel community here is to volunteer. And I know I say that all the time, but the place doesn't run without our volunteers. We absolutely have to have you here to make things happen. And, it's pretty easy. We have greeting on Sunday mornings. Everything's like an hour or less. So it's pretty easy to do. We have a sign-up genius that we can put your email on. You'll get that every week. We have wonderful coffee and connections. We have several Sundays that are available. Men's group has this morning. We thank them in advance for all the goodies that are coming our way after that. Yeah, it's great. We have a lot of participation and we appreciate it, but we do have a few Sundays where we need some volunteers. So you can talk to me about that. And I also want to mention the Wednesday lunch bunch. We're looking for a couple of extra hands to come on Wednesdays if that's something you can do. Again, 1 hour. So rewarding, so joy-filled, so amazing. So come and talk to me about that today. I know some of y'all don't like signing up on that sign-up genius, but I'm going to be out there with my laptop and I'll walk you through it, or I'll sign you up, or we'll figure it out. So come and see me. Another really super deep dive that you can take this fall is the Quantum Mind class. That's going to start a week from this Monday. It's on Monday nights. It's with Reverend Lisa and Marilee Payne. It's based on the book Quantum Warrior, The Future of the Mind. And we often refer to God here, Infinite Spirit, as the quantum mind, as quantum field. Lisa talks about that a lot on Sunday mornings. And I believe it's where we're all learning and growing towards. So a wonderful way to get more to learn more and grow more. It's a 7-week class, $90 if it's paid in advance, or $15 a class as you go. You get a little discount if you sign up in advance. But also there's a link in the newsletter and on the website for that as well. I want to mention that the women's group is going to meet briefly after the service next Sunday to discuss reconvening, new meeting times, and just what everybody's interested in, ladies. So all women are invited to show up for that next Sunday following the service. Today, following the service, the 20s and 30s are going to be meeting downstairs in the tween room. I was thinking about that today. Oh, I wish I was 20 or 30 again, right? Sounds like such a fun bunch to go be a part of. But they're meeting today, and if you're 20 or 30-something, you can join them. The letter writers want me to remind you that they need stamps to get their letters in the mail. They have several hundred that are still out. People are still bringing those in. And I'm going to remind you every week, it's 50 days now until the midterms. They've asked me to do that. So they are coming, and we appreciate you helping us do that. The first 2 Sundays in October following the service, we're doing some practice bingo games. I know y'all laugh when I say this, but 10 of us went to play bingo last week, and we had the best time. I am not kidding. It was so much fun. We laughed a lot. We even had one big winner. It was like, yeah, it was so fun. Anyway, we're going to do some practice games because we're getting ready to launch this out into the community. It's a really wonderful way for us to raise some funds to keep things going here at our building. So the first 2 Sundays in October, plan to stay after the service. I think we're even going to have lunch to be able to serve to you guys too. So you can eat a little lunch, play a little bingo. It'll be a great time. Mark your calendars for that. At this time, I would love for our prayer chaplains to stand. I remembered Lynn this time up here. Our prayer chaplains are the foundation of our ministry here. And I know a lot of us show up, and we're hurting or things have happened in our lives. And we're here to support you with that, and our prayer chaplains are certainly here to support you through intentional prayer. You can meet with them following the service. They'll be available up front here to pray with you in person. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, we have prayer requests in the backs of the chairs and on the lobby tables, and you can fill those out and drop them in this prayer box, and they will hold those prayers for you for 30 days, and then they'll send them on to Silent Unity. So it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. I want to mention that prayer chaplain training begins in October as well. If you feel led to pray with people, opening your heart to some sacred listening and growing spiritually, we invite you to come and talk to us. We have applications in the office, which we'll be happy to give you. So at this time, I want to welcome anyone who's with us for the first time. If this is your first time here at Unity of Portland, our ushers are coming forward with our welcome packets. Raise your hand. First time? There we go. Welcome. Welcome. We have a few here. All right, so on the front, there's a rose sticker. We'd like you to peel that off and stick it to your clothes so we know who you are. I say it might get you to the front of the coffee line. I don't know that for sure, but it might. So go ahead and try that today. On the back, there's a green card that we would love for you to fill out. This just puts you on our mailing list. If you're tech savvy, you can snap that QR code and we'll get your information that way as well. And there's a couple of free gifts in there. So we do invite you. We're so glad that you're with us today. We invite you to join us for coffee and connection downstairs following the service. Welcome. Y'all have a great week. Thanks.
And Beth, yes. And Beth, thank you for doing platform for the last 4 weeks. Thank you, or 5 weeks. Thank you. I am so grateful. Oh, and we have the opportunity. I just want to reiterate, thank you to all of you who are here. One of the things that Unity believes is that we're all on a spiritual journey, and wherever we are is exactly where we're supposed to be. Unity doesn't offer dogma. It doesn't say you have to do this or this or this, or you need to be this. Instead, we say we're walking this journey together. There's universal laws, spiritual principles that will guide us if we open our heart to them. So if this community works for you, I invite you to become a part of it. I believe right now gathering together in community is one of the most important things we can do. It can be a little scrunchy, it can be a little fuzzy as far as we haven't done that for a while, but learning to just hear each other's stories is so important. So if it works for you, we invite you to become a part. If it does not, I would encourage you to continue seeking. Find something that does say yes to your heart and who you are, because I believe that we are here to support each other as we awaken. So I am grateful to just be a part of this. We're going to stand and sing. Thank you.
In the name of love.
In the name of love.
Put the words up here. You're welcome to sing with us. Here we go. In the name of love, with the heart of grace, overflowing us, decorate this place, as it is below, so it is above. May we always stand in the name of love. And when the veil is gone, there's only one of us, only one, in the name of love. And when the day is done, we will sing this song all as one, in the name of love. Okay, let's do that again. In the name of love, with a heart of grace, overflowing us, decorate this place, as it is below, as it is below, so it is above. May we always stand in the name of love. When the veil is gone, there's only one of us, only one, in the name of love. When the day is done, we will sing this song all as one, in the name of love. In the name of love. In the name
Oh, yes. And we just invite you to turn to look around you at these essences that you are one with, and say, Namaste. The divine in me greets the divine in you.
Name of love.
All of you.
Coming down. Woo, you're going to make me cry. Thank you. As we learn to recognize that we really are one, and we wonder what that means because we're still sorting out. We live in these two worlds. We live in the world of spirit. It anchors us. As we learn to listen, it reminds us of who we are in a world of matter. And so balancing these two worlds is much of the journey right now, and even acknowledging that we have the ability to get out of the world of maybe fear or worry or difficulties. And so what we do that with is spending time in meditation and getting quiet and just simply breathing and listening and allowing that movement to move through us. And so as we take this little time of meditation, I just invite you to remember that we can anchor each day in this silence.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
Oh, as I relax my body, letting go of outer thoughts and turning within, I welcome a deeper knowing, a cellular knowing. There is only love. One presence moves through me now as love. That movement opens, it expands, and I simply relax and rest in knowing there is only love. In the silence. In the silence. And from this place of resting, of knowing that there is only love, I say yes to that eternal movement of spirit that reminds me I am here to be that channel for love. Every breath, every moment is love. And for that, I am so grateful. Overflowing gratitude reminds me that we are one. And so it is. Amen.
When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I can hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
Can you sing it with us? There is only love.
There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today.
Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people
Living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one.
Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of men. Imagine all the people
Sharing and the world will be as one. Can you all sing with us? You may say, I'm a dreamer. Sing with us. But I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us. Here we go. And the world will be as
Thank you, thank you. Wow, what does that bring to mind? The pure potentiality of spirit, the possibilities. It's so good to hold that place in our minds because sometimes I have a feeling what we experience might be a little different. Anybody experiencing anything different than that? We see the world around us and we say, where are we within all this? What I know is that's where we're going. I know that the evolutionary impulse of the planet, the wisdom that resides in this, and I can't seem to stop calling it a quantum field. It's, Pierre Teilhard de Chardin said it is the energy of love, the absolute underlying intelligence of the universe that sources us all. But sometimes we get a little cut off from that. Sometimes we wonder, what's happening? How do we manage ourselves through this movement and this life? And I just, I feel like this is the journey right now. And what I know is if I'm breathing, I've said yes to it. On a soul level, I've said yes to this time in history, which means, and so have you, by the way. I'm just using me, so I'm not pointing out you because we're all on this journey together. But that means that we have something to give, we have something to learn, and we're a part of the healing that happens. So my question is always, what can I create in this? How do I hold a large enough space in consciousness? How do I hold something large enough that I can move through it? And we're in so many different spaces and places in our lives, and yet we're here to learn and to expand and to grow and to find out, where are we? Who are we? And how do we know a deeper and larger picture of ourselves? This coming Thursday is the equinox. Now, I don't know about you, but I grew up in a world, it was on Air Force bases a lot of the times. It was what I'm just going to say was it was a world of white privilege. That's really the world that I know right now. And so what I'm doing is unlearning. I'm unlearning things every single day. And it was just simply the world I grew up in. I was fortunate to grow up in unity, and so just like our kids downstairs, their lesson today, and I don't have any idea if we'll have any this morning or not, but it literally is prepared and held for them. I have the power, and they're putting power in their backpacks. They're creating this idea. I have the power of spirit within me, not out there. It's not something I wield and use against someone. Instead, it's something that guides me and holds me. And so as we learn these pieces, the equinox and the seasons are so important. And so as I learned to be a part of living on the earth, and I was so grateful to the Waldorf school that my kids grew up in, because that was part of what we learned, and I got to go into a different idea and a way of seeing the earth, and of course recognizing this physical body is old pieces of the earth. All of us are. We're old elements, we're old parts, we're all put in there and rearranged because there's an intelligence in our body that's directed it all. And we always have access to that intelligence. And then we get to say, how do we do it? So the equinox is when it's the balance between light and dark. And I have a feeling that's what we're searching for in our lives. We're searching for that balance. And many of us are looking to find it in ways that we thought we knew, and then we have to unlearn. Anybody unlearning anything currently? I think that's one of the most important things we're doing right now. We're getting a larger picture. We're unlearning some of the old pieces, and then we have the opportunity to put it back together. And I had this aha, and it's the silliest thing because I know I knew it, but that means as we move into darker times of the year, which spiritually means we get to go within, we get to listen a little more within, we get to pay attention to what's happening and to just be with that. There's another half of the world that's going into sunlight. We were raised, many of us, with this idea of being individuals instead of interdependent. So what's happening in my world was the world. And we're all learning to say, wait a minute, I live in a larger world, and I've come to understand it. And so when we do that, and then we say, what can I create from here? I believe that's when life begins for us. Because before that, we've been living a life we were programmed to do. You should look like this, you should be this. Anybody, I grew up, you should get straight A's and be perfect. That was, in my house, A- was not okay. That was the rule. Anybody have any rules in their heads, in their bodies, in their beings? Okay, we have 2. Anybody else grow up with a few of life should look like this? And as we pull those apart, then we find, wait a minute, life, the divine intelligence in us, is individualized within our hearts and our minds and our beings. So we don't need to be like this or this or this. Instead, we're interdependent beings that are all a part of the answer and a part of the questions and a part of the journey. And so then when we begin saying, what can I create? We get to expand the little borders. We get to expand the boundaries and the things that fulfill us, because it's not reaching, quote, success. We've seen that and tried that. Instead, it's finding the balance of who we are on the planet and how we love ourselves and we love others and we touch the world. And so during this time of the equinox and this time of the balance between light and dark, I'd invite you to remember it was also always a time to gather to celebrate, realizing that the essence of the people that were on the planet said, we need each other to survive. And we went off for a while into we don't need each other. And countries thought they didn't need each other. And of course, are learning bigger pictures of course we do. Of course we're all one. Of course we're a part of this. And that can bring up some angst in you. And if I offend you, all I can say is this is the journey I'm experiencing. And I'm inviting myself, when words scare me, to open up to something more. Because if I do, I find a larger story than the one I had. And this time period right now is an invitation to find a larger story than we were raised with. And so what can I create is what we get to ask ourselves whenever life offers us any opportunity at all. I'm talking good, bad, in between. When life offers you another day, it's another day to express, to live, to love, to be who we are. And yet sometimes we don't always ask ourselves, what can I create in this day? Anybody get up this morning and think you're the same person you were yesterday? You look in the mirror, anybody look in the mirror and say, oh God, it's you again. It's you again. And only you're a day older. You don't look quite the same. All the body parts may not be in the same place as they were before. But the truth is, that's not actually what's happening. Because the essence of who we are is vibrant and alive and moving within us. It's there. It's life. And it says, I know who you are. And everything that happens in your journey is going to be an invitation to unfold that. That's where we are right now. We came to a place where we had to look at the systems in this country, and we had to look at our individual lives and ways of being and say, there's something more. There's something more of who I am. And so what do we do when we want to look at that? One of the first things we have to do, I believe, is we have to realize and remember we live in two worlds at the same time. We live in the world of matter, and we live in the world of spirit. Now, if you've been here very long, you've heard that over and over again. We recognize it. But how many of us get up, we get ready for a day, and suddenly the world of spirit went right out the door? And we just went off into the world of matter, and we didn't realize that who we are is a creation of spirit, and that every day is new, and we have the opportunity to choose a new thought, to choose a new way. We're moving into the Quantum Warrior, and I'm the Quantum Mind class, and I wanted to just share, and nobody needs to take the class, you can always read it, but one of the things I do, and every fall we do this, we go deeper into subjects that will move us from fear to faith. And this is not a blind faith. Unity has talked a lot about faith not being a blind faith. I'm not asking you to believe something because I say it. I'm asking you to go deeper into your world and say, what does this mean? What is this truth? And so this uses some science, a lot of science, into what is our mind? What are our beliefs? What are the ideas that we have? One of the things that it says, and it says from a psychological perspective, our beliefs are personal inventory which make up our model of reality. From a quantum perspective, our beliefs are vibrating energy patterns within our own personal quantum field. However, from a warrior perspective, beliefs are a creative act of choice. They are the most powerful tools we possess. Our beliefs are the single most important factor in determining what will happen to us, yet most of us pay them minimal, if any, attention. This must change if we wish to play Monopoly and Cosmic successfully. Beliefs are not phantom or shadow images without substance. They are patterns of energy vibrating within us. What my experience has been is somehow in this country, we were raised with some patterns of energy, some beliefs, and it's in there, and we're undoing them. One of them was simply, we're not worthy. That came from an old idea of sin, honestly, it came from heaven and hell. And those are not actual realities. There is no heaven, there is no hell. Those are states of consciousness. And so what we're going to learn in this idea and work with is the idea that we are part of that state of consciousness. We are a part of it. In fact, the belief now in science is that consciousness predated the Big Bang. And Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, of course, called that consciousness the energy of love. And that with that essence, it has continued to expand. And when it gets into a place where it doesn't know itself, and quite a few wisdom teachers have said, and I use this phrase, I've heard it came from two different people, so one was Rumi and one was Neil deGrasse Tyson. I don't know which, but basically we are the universe becoming aware of itself. We are the universe. That means the consciousness that predated this, the quantum field, and many scientists call it a quantum vacuum. We know it's intelligent, we know it's there, and we know that it moves us forward. It's there and it's within us. And then it goes, and so this consciousness goes as far as it can go, and it either creates a whole new idea system, or it moves back down until there's enough energy again for it to do it in another place. We're seeing it all around us. We're being asked to look at those. So what do we do? Quantum physics teaches us we're living in this vast sea of energy. We interact with it all day long. Everything is connected. It further reveals that past, present, and future are happening simultaneously. Does that mess up your day's plans? It does. And so the question I keep saying is, so how do I create within it? And you know, I believe much of this is ancient wisdom. When I said, how do I create within it? The first thing I knew was I have to have a foundation that is so strong that I know who I am within it. A foundation that says, yes, there's a presence and a power, and I'm encased in it. Charles Fillmore, one of the co-founders of Unity, said that literally there's one presence and one power. They didn't have the science behind it. And we live and move and have our being within that one presence. We know that. We've been told that by ancient wisdom. And he said, and that's what we have to focus on, is that presence. So how do I get the ground of being? How do I have the ability to connect with that? You know, Jesus said simply when he was asked, so what are your commandments? Remember, the Judaic tradition, there were 10 commandments. And those were actually very important at that time that they were written. They have a specific meaning, and many of us have been taught some very interesting things about them, but if you go back into the actual ideas, they were important ideas. Thou shalt not kill was a radical idea. You couldn't go over and just kill your neighbor because you liked his cows or whatever else he had. So these were important ideas. So when Jesus was asked, the first thing he said is, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your being. Some of us have had that drilled into you. You got to love this man up in the sky who's judging. And that'd be really hard. But what if it means we got to stand on the earth in the energy of the quantum and allow it to surround us and anchor us and hold us safe and teach us who we are? What if that's the wisdom? And so when I wake up in the day, who I am is not just some face in the mirror. That's a spacesuit that travels along this journey and, does some very interesting things, I'm finding. But the truth of who I am is an anchored essence of intelligence, anchored in a sea of intelligence. And I believe that's what these wisdom teachers were teaching us. So we got to do that. Then we've got to add our neighbor. We weren't taught that. Think of others. Well, you might have been taught, think of others first. But I don't know that we grew up in a world that said all others. It includes us all. And so we're learning to unpack what we're hearing. And it's not always easy. It's not always the gentlest thing we can do. One of the things I've committed myself to is education. So when something happens and I think I have a view about it, and again, I'm just looking at my world and I've been off too long, so I may be saying things that I maybe shouldn't be saying, but when the Queen died, that's one of the things that's in our world. At first there's this, wow, it's the passing of an era. Look at what she did. But if I'm really honest and living on this planet, I had to say, wow, look at what happened in colonialism. Look at the big picture. And for a lot of us, those aren't easy. But if I don't have the courage to look at a larger story that's uncomfortable, then I don't have the courage to look at a larger story in my life, is how I've believed. I did it with immigration. And I was so grateful to go back and be able to learn some of the history. And I thought, man, we've had so many battles over this and some crazy stuff is happening. What's going on? And then I went back and found out, and I was grateful to be able to actually get the sources on some of this. And I got mine through Heather Cox Richardson. And I looked at it. And when we made the law in the late 60s to only allow in 30,000 immigrants a year, the number that had been allowed in and had been passing freely, not allowed in, had been passing freely for decades had been 50,000. That was a political move that was done to win an election. And so it wasn't a larger picture. Now, you get to decide where you are with all these pieces. My desire is that we have the education. We open our minds to learning more. And so what I thought was a problem may just need to be unraveled. And people on both sides of the tickets have tried to unravel this. This is not about, I don't want to go into politics, but I want us to go into real life stories, because somehow love your neighbor as yourself has gotten really funky. We grew up in a world that says if your skin is this color, you aren't acceptable. And we have to either find a way to live within that, depending on where you are and the color of your skin. You have a different experience every single time. I love the 23-year-old black woman who said, I want to be able to teach, and I don't know how. She has created a set of cards on colonialism and unpacking colonialism. And you can buy them so that you can learn the pieces. And she said, well, I learned math through games. Why can't I learn life through games? And I thought, how fabulous is that? What does it take us to learn life? So my invitation, when we say we get to find the ground of being, and then we get to find a way to love our neighbor as ourselves, that's the third piece. We get to love ourselves. We get to be imperfect in all of our glory and love ourselves as we are, because when we do, we allow this quantum field and the intelligence to move through us because we become a channel. And that's our path, this life journey. Leah, will you show some of those slides? One of the things we've committed to as a community has been working with the churches in Nigeria, and many of you know this. I just want to share with you a few of the pieces. We were able this year to sponsor the Children's Convention, and this Children's Convention happens in Uzu-Akoli, Nigeria. And the children are fed for a week, and we were the channel for the sponsoring. This year I was able to get Unity Worldwide Ministries, and they sponsored it, and we just simply deposited the money and wrote the check. And I transferred it to Nigeria. But I want you to see, when you have time, these are some of the youth that were there, and they got a shirt. And that shirt, you may wonder what that is. Those blue shirts mean they can go to school, because those shirts are school-type shirts. You need a polo shirt to go to school. So these are just some of the pieces of where they are. And then the other thing we did was they gave out these right here. Will you stay here just for a minute? Yeah, these pictures right here. These are some of the scholarship recipients. There were 30 this year that Unity of Portland sponsored with our tithes. It came from the tithes of our May Challenge and our Christmas Challenge. And these are young women that are going to school for 3 years instead of getting married or working. And so I just wanted I realize you may not be able to see it with all the light here, but I just wanted you to be a part of some of that, because that is the consciousness saying, who you are is something more. And what these girls have relayed to Reverend Ada, and this girl is just starting, so she's getting her new scholarship. It repeats for 3 years. Her life will be so different because someone took the time to just simply offer that's another way and another place. And then I think the next picture might be the one where Reverend Ada, one who oversees this program, and she said, my most important job is to tell every one of them that some of these pictures, because they bless me when we remember we aren't just evolving for us. Every time we take a little bit of the web, it's a part of the universal field, and it grows. And so I just wanted you to see those. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. We have the great opportunity of receiving our tithes and our love offerings, and we do it in a little different way right now. But I know that oh, yes, good. There are ways to give, and they are still here, and no, I have not memorized that number yet. However, you can text to Unity of Portland, 833-814-3477. Online, I know you have yours there also. And I just invite you to just know we're all in the part of remembering the truth of who we are. And again, we're recreating, I believe, the economy, just holding a space in consciousness that we recreate and reestablish something so much larger for ourselves as humanity than the current economy we have, because there's a way that all people are blessed and supported in this world and on this planet. So we're going to say our blessing. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And we're so, so blessed to be a part of the cycle of the movement and the movement of energy of when we do this, and we're a part of shifting, and we do it consciously, and of allowing resources to flow through us, we change this planet. So thank you, thank you.
So grateful to have Leah Yorkston with us this morning. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
I see trees of green, red roses too.
Thank you, thank you. And as our youth come in, we recognize that they are that light, that essence of light and that love and that presence and power. And I just invite all of you to allow your love to move into the center as they hold that space. Hello. What? Oh, yes. Oh, wonderful. Hi. Hello, hello. It's so good to have you here. And one of the things that we know is that each of these beautiful beings, and Michael, it's so good to see you with your backpack on. One of the things they did today was they put, and oh, Liv came in with her backpack too. We wouldn't want Liv not to have hers for school. Okay. All of them did was that they put their power into that backpack because they know that that power is within them. And so we bless all of these beings. And this year ahead of them, a year of growth and of love and of expansion. We know that each of us here holds that space of the pure power within you as you move through your year and you share the love that you are. Thank you, Infinite Spirit. And so it is. And we just bless these beautiful beings as they move throughout their journey and recognize we're not separate. We're all a part of each other's journeys. And so if you haven't reached out and met either ones here or those around you, I'd invite you to do that. We'll have connection hour downstairs because we can remember that we are all on this sacred journey. And I find every time I find someone else's story, I learn more about me and about who I am. So we're going to stand and join hands and sing Let There Be Peace. Or you don't have to join hands. I apologize. You can do whatever you want. We're going to hold consciousness and sing Let There Be Peace on Earth and let it begin with me.
Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony.
Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take,
Let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me.
Oh, yes. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. And let's join together in our unity prayer. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. All right. Thank you, God. Have a love-filled week.
There's only one of us, only one, in the name of love. But when the day is done, we will sing this song, all is one, in the name of love. When the veil